Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 147 of the Go Get That podcast. That was attempt number 3 to get this episode rolling. Hopefully, that is the same amount of attempts as on par 4 this week, but I'm not sure how. I believe that will be the case. But regardless, we're back at the site of an iconic victory. Victory that started it all before it all fell apart again. So yeah, the Oaks course. One of my least favorite courses on tour personally, but was it was the site of some great memories. Uh, yeah. I'm This week is, I think we talked about how the last tournament was a step in the right direction, but it's only a step in the right direction if he builds off it this week. It's not time to stall out and stay stagnant. It's time to thrust towards Augusta because we only have 4 slash maybe 2 rounds until we tee off that first hole. And it came quick. It came really quick. I mean, there was a little Spieth for a long time. And just like that, we're at what really is where Spieth has been trying to peak at for the last few months. And I'm sure we all have our differing opinions on whether we think he will be able to do that. But nonetheless, it starts this week because a bad week this week takes him completely out of the picture for the Masters, and I'm sure he knows that. I'm sure he's working very hard this week. My question for you guys to start it off, I wonder if, well, I don't really know your opinions on this course, but I feel like my opinion of it might be a little bit slandered by the fact that it's just such a horrible prep for Augusta, so I don't really like Spieth playing it. But I still don't think it's a very good design. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on the course before we get into Mr. JS.
Yeah, I'll go a little bit. It's good to be back. Been thinking about this moment every day for the past 10 days. The return of the Go Get That podcast.
It is what everyone looks forward to.
Yes, numerous DMs and promotions came into the inbox, saying, "Where's the next episode? We want Bob, we want Jordan." Anyway, here we are. And yeah, you said it. Masters is next week. There's no more time for playing games. This is just pure business. This is down to work. Mr. McCormick is on site. No video lessons this week. This is full throttle, full thrust. And we're coming off a week at the Valspar, which was encouraging in terms of the ball striking category. Um, and I know you mentioned the course, so I'll get into that here, just so I don't get too far off. I kind of like it. I think it's a decent challenge. It's quirky. It's gonna play pretty fast and firm this week. Like it's gonna play tough. I think you can respect that it's at least tough. Um, the fair part may or may not be there, but it the sun's going to be out. It's going to be hot the first few days, and then it's going to be drastically colder on Sunday. So I think it's going to offer an interesting tournament. It doesn't look like it's rained there in a little while. It's not supposed to rain there all week. Uh, you're going to have to land your ball in some spots. There's a lot of ridges. Jordan and I are on 2K sometimes scouting, and there's a lot of ridges on these greens. You have to be very precise with where you land the golf ball. And so if you are flushing it around here, I think that's a good indication of kind of where you're at, because there's similarly at Augusta, and the areas are different, the way the greens flow are different, but you still have to land it in the right spots around here to play well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think just more competitive rounds never hurts. Seeing more shots be played, it should be 4 rounds this week, looking at the field,
Absolutely.
and looking at how it's been
It
played recently. But it's not, four or
it
five
must
birdies
be
out
four
here is a
rounds.
pretty darn good day. Um, and it's more just about center of greens. The goal is 15, 16 greens. Um, and that's, asking quite a bit, but that's kind of what it is. That's how you shoot the 3, 4 birdie rounds that move you up the leaderboard out here. Because you're not, unless something changes or they're doing a horrible job at the course setup, given how it looks right now, like the winner's probably 12 or 13.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree.
and that's
It's
that's awesome.
it's a course that fits Jordan Spieth very well, and we know this. I mean, very uncompetitive to say the least, but he did top 10 there last year, um,
It's a green box.
which was his best result post
Phoenix.
probably century. It was
Yeah.
his best result of the injured part of the season by a million miles. And it gave us every last bit of false hope going into Augusta, but um, it's a course that fits him really well. The scoring fits him really well. He can play for pars. Um, and I think that first off, it must be 4 rounds this week. If it's a missed cut here with this field, I mean, the only way that it's anywhat justifiable is if he gets himself in a spot that turns out to be a pretty good 11 and he just misses the cut because he makes an 11 on a hole. Like, it shouldn't be close to a missed cut. But I think that I don't think we need to ask too much of him this week. I'm not really too worried about the score this week. I'm very confident that he will be determined to get scoring well starting Monday morning. But I need to see some good ball striking this week to feel good. Yes, he's got to put it together, but if he doesn't make anything this week, that's probably best case in my opinion for where we're headed next week. Um, if there's any part of the game that's going to lose strokes, I really want it to be putting this week. Because I really do think he's going to get that putter. It's tough because he hasn't gained strokes in a major putting in a while, but um, I do think he'll be determined to get that ready for Thursday next week. So the ball striking's got to be good. Where let the scores fall as they may, but the ball striking's going to be working upwards. And if that happens, then we are full go for next week.
Yeah, I think your first question is going back to when you opened the pod regarding the course. I think it's a dump. Um, Not a fan of this week. I actually probably disagree with you. I
Agree.
don't I honestly we actually joke about it kind of in our chat. And I mean, I think Jordan's still working his way back. I don't really know what course fits him right now. I mean, I did a little model for this week. He
Ugh.
wasn't a positive course fit this week. He wasn't like terribly ranked, but like I don't know what his course fit is. I think the one thing this venue kind of does, I think Dan was kind of alluding to it, it's not as good of a prep as Houston is, but around the greens here, it's tough. I know there's some ryegrass around the greens here, just looking at kind of the fact sheet for this week. So there's some similarities around the greens, but that's probably where it ends in terms of similarities. I mean, driving here is not even close to as important as it is there. Total driving, accuracy and distance. Um, so there's really no comp there. So that's kind of my, opinion on the course. I'm not a big fan of it. It's kind of funny. The more I think about it, there's so very few tour courses, I think, that really test every part of your game. I mean, I think the first one that comes to mind for me is probably Jack's Place and Memorial. But I mean, so many of these courses, I don't really think test your game quite like a major does. Um, and you could see that because I mean, at most of these tour venues, like it's hard to shoot above 80, where at majors we see 80 plus carded on because I mean that just exposes when you're off at a major. So yeah, I don't really think this is a great comp, but I mean we've kind of touched on it on the last with the around the green play and how everyone's been complaining about that. He's going to get tested this week around the greens. This place is not easy around the greens. So I guess looking ahead to Augusta, no place more important around the greens than there. This will be a good test this week to see kind of where the short game is.
And to that point, like I can understand where you're coming from in terms of the course and the course fit. And the week before Augusta, it's not the greatest. It's not a comp at all. Like these are not courses that you
It's
throw
it's
up and
it's
say,
truly unbelievable. Like you'd think that they'd switch Valero and Houston in the schedule, but
yeah, or I mean, look, I've been begging for Ranch to be in one of these spots for many moons. Not because it's a better Augusta comp fit, but I think it would really flourish in a spot like this. But I
well,
think
you
there's
can't
something
have two majors back to back.
that's well, that's well said. But they do go Ranch only a few weeks before the PGA, which I guess is sort of not really, it's kind of the low end of the majors, right? So it's like fifth major and the fourth major are pretty close, adds it together to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sort of
yeah.
one better month of golf. So I can understand that. But like this is gonna be, I mean, God, who knows what the weather's gonna do and who knows how they set it up. But it does play hard. You remember in 21, he won at 18 and top six, I believe, or top maybe it was a top 10, but was in the single digits. Like he doubled 70 guys that week in his, in terms of how many shots he beat them by relative to them to even par. You also remember he was lights out inside of 10 feet that week. And so sort of to your point, Jordan, this it's challenging because the golf course plays sort of difficult. There's some interesting slopes around the green is not easy. Um, the fairways are kind of angled slightly, but in different ways than Augusta. It's not rolling. It's just kind of sloped. Like it's just like I'm trying to think of a comparison for it, but uh, the challenge becomes like how many putts do you make inside of 10 feet? Like it kind of becomes a somewhat of a putting contest because you're gonna miss greens and you're gonna miss fairways, and if it's gonna play as firm as it looks like it's gonna play and as hot as it's gonna be, like that in itself is a mental and physical test that is way different than the test Augusta provides, but it is still a test nonetheless, and I think that that's not necessarily a bad thing to have the week before. And it'd be another thing if he had played a whole bunch leading into this. I think he's well rested, and we can kind of get into Spieth. Like he's played
Yeah.
what three out of the last five, six.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's
I
like
think the more that the days roll on, um, it that not getting an API just kind of is getting better and better. I don't really see a way in which that hurt him. I think that he gets more rest. I don't think with the current state of his game, he would have played that well there. Um, given that the last few weeks has been when the driver's been the worst, and that would not have worked out well. There. So I'm I think that that's completely a blessing in disguise. I do agree with you, Dan. I think he's completely well rested. I think he's very motivated. I think he's probably starting to get that Augusta itch, as many players are. And I mean, it's a course he has good memories at. I don't think that's something to let go, something to forget because and he's only won twice in many moons, and those good memories are. I mean, we are. This is 4 years now, but I mean, they're still fresher than others. So, um, I think that's good. I think that plays a part. I think he likes coming back here. It's a Texas event. In the future, I'd like to see him play Houston over here personally. But I do I do think he's got some good mojo going into this week.
Yeah, good mojo. I mean, he's played well here. He's played good enough golf to win here twice. Just looking at his profile, I mean, he should have won in 2015. I mean, he was 7 under, solo second, and Jimmy Walker won by 4 shots. So he's got a win here. Probably should have two. Good mojo. I think there's an interesting thing that you kind of touched on, Bob, where I think I probably disagree a little bit, is kind of what I want to see this week. I want to see contention. I think anything short of that, um, I don't want to write him off for next week, but like it's kind of been a minute since he's been in deep contention. If you want to consider, I mean, I consider Phoenix really the one deep contention this year. I don't consider the COG as much. I know he said he wanted to contend once before the Masters, but we're talking about 2 months ago now since Phoenix. And he always, going into Augusta, I think Kyle Porter says it well on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Like he plays well at Augusta when he plays well going in, and I just think he'd feel pretty good, I think. And it's a big ask, obviously, to work his way into contention this week, but that's like what I think we should be asking of him. I mean, yeah, I want to see good ball striking too. But I think Dan kind of touched on it in the Valspar recap. Like it's time to put it all together again. And I think this is a great opportunity, kind of as you said, Bob. Great vibes here. Has played really well here over his career. Um, and I just think if he could work his way into contention, doesn't need to win, but I mean, if he could, work his way to contention on Sunday, play some half decent golf, take some confidence into Augusta, you start to paint a picture of how can we win the golf tournament next week. I think I forgot which tournament he got asked by a media member earlier this year, like, when do you start thinking of Augusta? And his response was this week, I'm pretty sure. The Valero week is when he starts, or maybe like last week since he was off, but he starts to think about, oh, what shots am I going to need around Augusta? So it's obviously top of mind at the moment.
I hit the nail on the head there. There's a lot of that. The contention part is it's always an interesting discussion because how do you define contention? How do you define deep contention? How do you um I guess qualify or quantify that and what it means leading into the next week? But I think what I kind of put on Twitter and what I probably alluded to was an overall sense of completeness. Um, not sort of the whack-a-mole golf that's been played. Um, and by whack-a-mole I mean something goes pretty well, something else isn't just quite there, right? And obviously winning is hard, and if that something else is there, it's potentially winning. But it would be nice to be really come Saturday and particularly Sunday, sort of at that point where you get a feeling like, oh, he could, right? And I think there's this season, I'm not sure we've had oh, he could, other than Phoenix for like 2 minutes. And then Dietrich went absolutely nuclear on the back nine. And it was like, well, this is not going to go very well. But I think sort of to Bob's point too,
Yeah, I
though, is
mean,
like the completeness is
I
great, but we also need it's hard to get there without the continued
yeah,
sort of pursuit of an elite
yes,
skill
I
set.
agree.
And that's like we haven't had any consistency in that regard. So I think if what Bob says, I think if Bob like the idea of consistency or taking that next step happens, I think we will get the completeness.
Yeah,
I think the
I'm
floor has to be sort of some sense of consistency here.
I think the putt on 16 at Honda was probably the biggest oh it could we've had this year. I don't think there really was much of an oh it could. I don't that Phoenix. I just it was always so far fetched just because of how woke Dietrich went. Um, Yes, he played much better golf. It actually wasn't. It wasn't great golf at Honda with the iron, so but it was really good at Phoenix. But I think I definitely felt the oh, we could win this a lot more at Honda after he bounced back from that bogey at 15. But regardless, I think there needs to be a lot better oh it coulds from here on out. As Jordan said it perfectly. As I'm just seeing that his name is Bob on here. I don't know
It
how
was like
that
that last
happens.
time. Yeah. I wasn't.
Perfect. Flattering. I think that Jordan said it perfectly when he said this has to be the worst third of the season up to this point. This can't be the best or the middle. It has to be the worst. It has to be better from here on out. So, yes, I agree with you, Jordan. There needs to be some contention sooner or later.
It's just like, how
But
do you want
in
him to win
terms,
next week? Like, I mean, because that's the goal, right? And like, he can win next week without contending this week, but it's like,
I think that I'd rather see a non-competitive T12 because he didn't make anything
okay,
than a T6 because he pops with the putter.
yeah, no, that's fair.
That's
Pops with the
more my
putter.
point.
That's probably the most unrealistic thing.
Yeah, that would
Because I
be
mean, he's
something.
not going to finish T25 with the ball striking I'm asking for right here. I mean, this isn't a very good field.
No,
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I
he's
said it. Yeah, yeah.
I think your
like
guys' like expectation
yeah, I
on
think our points are a lot closer than probably it
closer than
says.
it
I think
might seem on paper.
yeah, yeah,
I think what Bob's talking about probably elicits contention this week,
yeah. I agree.
like in some
He
form.
expects to contend this week, I would think.
You would hope.
You would hope so,
You
but I
would
think
hope.
that's kind of Bob's point though, is that we've seesawed this season.
Yeah.
And so if we take a step from Valspar, part of that step is a result that elicits a green box that could elicit a darker green box that you're feeling good about. Oh, there's a few more green boxes in the statistical profiles as well.
No, I agree. I
100%.
mean, he hasn't gained on approach twice in a row yet this year.
Right.
That's kind of
Well,
seems like a prerequisite.
and to that
That's
idea
really
too,
bad.
like unless the whole game comes together, like you don't win unless there's something elite in your game. Right? Unless everything is like one,
It's
which
funny because
actually
15 Spieth was good at everything.
one is elite. Well, but that's over the course of the season,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think in the tournaments that he won, there was probably a few things that he did um extremely
Elite that week.
well
Yeah.
in
No,
each
no, no. I
week,
agree.
right? And obviously one
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually really elite for pretty much everything other than the putter, right? Like the you'll have a few guys up around one strokes gained putting for the week. But I mean, it really that approach number is I think the bare minimum this week, and that's a pretty low minimum. It'd be so nice to kind of watch on Thursday. I guess I can't watch, but follow along on Thursday and feel like, yeah, he's giving himself looks. Like this is somebody who's playing solid stuff. Um, they've got looks to move up the board, whether they go in or they don't go in. Right. At some point that week, you would like to see them go in, but you have to be pretty bad to go backwards from that point or that stage of playing golf. So, um, I mean, we'll just see how it goes. I hope that it goes well, and I hope that progress is made. Because if it is, like, I don't think it's that. I'm not sure that the winning is maybe as close as we want it to be, but like pretty serious contention, I don't think is that far away. And you never know what you're gonna luck into sometimes.
Well,
And I
you
could care
also
less
have
if
to make so many more putts than he has been to
yeah, no, especially
be in
inside of 10
deep
feet.
contention.
That's partly why I brought up
Yeah.
the
I
10-foot
mean, you
stat from
just,
that week.
yeah,
He was absurdly
yeah,
good inside of 10 feet that week, and that we
yeah,
haven't seen
I
that
agree.
since.
There were a lot of
Um,
fist pumps after putts because he was just making that
it
money.
was making every clutch putt. shoot, I had a thought about the Masters. Oh, like I'd rather him win and have it be the luckiest win of all time than oh man, he flushed it this week, or he didn't, play particularly well, and it is what it is. Like you don't really care how you slip on the jacket, you just go get the jacket, and
Yeah.
you can't get the jacket unless you're kind of hanging around, right? If other, it's maybe he's just due for other people to kind of mess up down the stretch. Maybe he's due for a Thomas into a major, right? Um,
Post
but
a number on Sunday. He's done that before.
yeah, and see, and maybe that's where we're at. I'm hoping that I think that's in my head. That's kind of the picture that I paint right now on how he wins is that's kind of how it goes. But I'm hoping this week that I can have multiple pictures of how it could go. Right? It could be a
That's
thrust
fair.
from the beginning. After the old
Yeah.
folks tee off in the morning, it's just Spieth straight to the top of the board, and we go from there. Obviously that would be the greatest picture to paint. But if
Yeah.
there's other pictures, and that's what this week is about, really.
Yeah, before or I don't know how much more you guys have to add, but I do want to say that I feel like this course isn't it's a nice mentality for someone like Spieth
Yeah.
to go into, right? Like you can be even through nine, be completely fine. You be one over through nine, be completely fine. Like you don't have to go out there and start making birdies right away. Um, which I think is nice. I'm not going to be able to watch any of the first round. I should be able to catch all of the second round and hopefully the third and the fourths. But I'm excited to chat with you guys Thursday night because I'm excited to
Sweet.
hear um, really how the first five holes went. I think I'm excited to see how being able to have that mentality maybe helps him because the last few courses you didn't have to go make birdies, but it was just a gauntlet kind of to start because of be it the conditions or I mean the players was ridiculous. But it was a gauntlet that he just got very lucky to be 3 under through two. But I think the start's big. I would like there to be multiple pictures. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, that's what Dan and I have been texting about as of late. Like, how can we make a path? Because it still seems
Yeah.
it's unlikely he's going to win the Masters next week. But it's been
very
all
true.
about, especially, I mean, just going back, really to like the players and even like some of these bad finishes. Like, how can we go into Augusta with a chance? And you look at the odds board, like the odds makers are still giving him a chance. I think he's less than 30 to 1 right now, Bob. You might know better than I do on that front, but the odds makers are clearly giving him a chance. It's not like he's a crazy
No,
price.
I mean, I think it's a horrible price, by the way.
Should
I
be
think
50?
that if Spieth was 55, 60 to 1 like he has been, I think that would be a really good bet this week.
All right, he's 36 to 1 on FanDuel now. I swear I saw him at
Yeah,
28.
that's not a good price. That's not a good price at
Brooks
all.
is 34 and he's won quite a few majors since Spieth won one, so this is not
Wait,
Sam price.
that's for next week?
This is for the Masters
Or
tournament,
this week?
yes. I said
Oh,
Brooks
that's a great
34 to
number.
1.
Are you kidding me? It's fantastic.
Mr.
There
Neiman
used to be a time
29.
where what?
Neiman 29.
Oh,
That's just about as
chills.
bad as a bet gets on the board. What is Phil Mickelson?
Mickelson, this is
Gotta
that's
be
the
in
long
that
shot
digits.
there.
He's on my short list.
190 to 1. He has the same odds as Homa.
That is what we
That's
like to
chills.
call value.
I think
One
I
is
mean,
rounding in the form, one is doing the opposites.
well, yeah. I mean, they have Phil tied with the guy who finished T3 last year. That makes sense to me. Whatever that number is,
Sure. Yeah.
that might, you could if you got Phil at 25 to 1. I think you'd feel like there's some value there. Just the way
I
he's been.
I mean there aren't too many people in the field that have cashed that ticket more than he has.
No, there may not be
Yeah, it's very possible.
strutting around that property. Is he?
Yeah.
He probably is the winningest Masters player in that field.
Yeah.
He's got 3
Baldo
jack.
doesn't play anymore. Tiger's not playing. Yep.
He
Yes.
made a
Yeah,
joke that he was going to play.
yeah, that was a horrible joke
That
from
was
Tiger
fantastic.
Woods. But he was just trying to get the attention off his new uh significant other, I guess is how I'll put that.
Oh,
Uh,
it's also good
so he's
point.
just trying to distract the people from that. Um, I saw something that he'll be part of the honorary tee shots on Thursday morning, which I don't think
Not
is
sure the back
true.
will be ready
He'll
to
be
go
at
at
Augusta.
that hour.
He'll be at Augusta, right?
Probably not.
It'll be
You
Oh,
don't think
dinner.
so?
maybe.
He's got that big thing on his knee, probably, maybe.
One is yeah, his lower leg too. I mean, honestly, they should just wrap him in bubble wrap and
Yeah, put him in
put
bowler
him
wrap,
up
get
there.
him
But
there.
it's not like like Tiger's great um for some things. I'm not sure I'd necessarily want to listen to him in the booth. I think he's pretty boring up there. But
He's done
there's
it before.
the insight
Yes.
of a great
Well, at the
champion.
Genesis, he was on multiple narcotics.
Yes,
So,
it's one of the great photos in my camera roll.
yeah, just a stoned Woods. Couldn't help myself.
No,
It's fair.
that's very
Ah,
fair.
I can't
Very
believe the Masters is next week, fellas.
No, it doesn't feel quite real. Um, Depending on how Thursday goes, I'm very much in play for a Friday withdrawal from work.
Good old PTO.
Yes, good old, well, yes, it would be the
Dan, if it's an
PTO
afternoon tea time at the Masters, will you be able to watch at
Friday.
all? Thursday.
If
Because
I'm
those are
unless
late
he's
tea
like the
times.
last spot,
Well, he typically is. So.
then I'd get the last like little bit. I'm hoping he's the last on Friday,
That'd be nice. It'd be nice to be early late for once with
because
the Masters.
then I would probably take off for a few hours Friday afternoon to watch the back nine, especially
yeah.
if he's right there. Um,
When's the last time he's had an early Masters tea time? Anyone know?
Pretty sure it was November.
November, so 5 years.
I mean, November they were all rained out, so they were all split tees, so just everybody was early. I mean, what was 21?
Well,
21
yeah,
was
but he was the early late because remember he made that putt to make the cut Saturday afternoon
21 he was last off.
and then went right back out.
That's true. Yeah, 21 was 20. Yeah, you're right, Bob. 20 technically was early.
But it wasn't really early late because it got rained out. But
Yeah, 21 was late. 22.
oh wow,
22 was
22
also,
he was second to last. 21 he was last.
yeah, I was gonna say 22 he was late because he made double on 18 and missed the cut.
23 he was last. He's been last or
So
second to last.
what was 24?
what?
He was definitely late last year. I remember waiting and doubling the
Yeah.
first hole.
Oh, yes. He was like second to last year. Or
He's been
third.
second to last or last in the last 4 years.
That's the sign of a once great champion.
Think about that.
The Riddler.
He definitely hates that. I
Let's hope
guarantee you
he's
he'd probably
last
be
or
early.
second to last on Sunday.
Yes. Scheffler probably off in the early wave again this year.
He was
Per
last
usual.
year.
It's nice.
It'll be Spieth and Hoey off 1 tee at the Masters this year. Actually, that's Hoey was not in the field. And maybe Spieth and Fowler. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, Fowler fans. Maybe next year. It's crazy Ricky didn't play Houston. Wait, no, he did play
he?
Houston. He just played poorly at Houston.
He did play poorly. He was in the 60s all 4 rounds.
Yes, made an eagle, hold out from 180.
You see the Riddler extending a special exemption.
Mm,
No.
not
Wait,
sure.
If
Not
Ricky
sure
wins
Fowler.
this week, he's not in.
He's in.
No, you have to win to be in this week, though.
He's
Oh.
not playing this week though, right?
He's
No,
in the
he's
field.
got to be in the field, I think.
I don't.
I could have
Let's see.
swore I saw his name.
Where is he
Maybe,
in-
but I thought I saw somewhere from Ricky Tracker that he was taking one of these events off, and he didn't take last
Well,
week
he's
off.
taking next week off. If he
Ricky's
takes
in the
it
field.
off.
He slots in at 57th in my model.
There we
57.
go.
Perfect. It's
Fowler.
not bad.
P46 will not get the job done, sir.
Any guesses where Spieth is?
I'm gonna say 42.
I'm gonna say 21.
Bob is good at this. 18.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's
it's gonna be
course
low.
fit.
Yeah.
I think that's the highest. It isn't the course. Well, it's
Oh,
not the
okay.
course fit. It's
That's what
the
I
course
was-
history and the weak field.
Gotcha. Well, there you go. So 18.
What a lead for me in triple double. I completely forgot I hit Minwoo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Wu
Thank you very much.
was a quality thrust. He held off Scheffler. And Mr. Woodland, which actually props to him for playing some good golf again.
He's on the comeback
yes.
trail.
Yeah.
Woodland will be on my plays this week.
Oh,
Really?
Gary.
Yes.
That's not a
Good
bad
old
play,
Gary.
actually. When you're hot, you're hot. He's in the Masters, right?
Off the U.S. Open, yeah. Might be his last year.
Yeah, 6 years.
Well,
Or no, 5, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
let's take a peek.
Well, he has medical status, so he still has all those exemptions from the year he was out.
Gary Woodland is not in the Masters.
Wow.
That would have been a good
Confirmed.
use of a special exemption, considering I guess the medical exemption doesn't matter for majors, maybe.
No, just the tour.
That's
Pretty
pretty
just tough
unfortunate.
from the Masters.
It's
I'll let
tough
people
and
just-
a little bit unfair.
yeah, I'll let the people decide if that's fair or not.
They had to
but-
let in the great major championship player Neiman into the field.
Yeah,
instead of
freaking
Yes.
dude. One of these.
Well, I mean, when you
times,
have all these ceremonial players like Longer and Spieth coming back every year,
Mike Weir,
yeah.
Olasalabo,
Angel Cabrera returning.
Yes,
Cabrera,
returning.
and good form as well, I might add.
Yes.
Shot a 65 in a recent event. When's the last 65 out of the
Will
Spieth camp?
will earn more prize money than Fowler at the Masters this year.
Yes,
It's true.
That's always
is
it's
well
always
put.
a nice little paycheck for Longer, I'm sure. A little T41 at Augusta, 50, 60 grand.
Throwing an Angel into Wikipedia. Do you know what his nickname is?
The unit.
On
I don't know.
Alito.
El Pato, the duck.
The duck.
It's phenomenal stuff.
El Pato.
Uno
Vamos El
momento.
Pato.
He has 54 professional wins.
And that's a champion right there.
Great champion.
Now, are 23 of them on the Argentine tour? Yes, but they are pro wins.
Hmm.
He's
Would
got
Spieth win on the Argentine tour?
he has 3 PGA Tour wins, and 2 of them are majors. That's quite
That'd be
impressive.
funny.
That's
That'd be funny if Spieth was sentenced to the Argentine tour and they said, and you just tried to figure out how many times you would win in a season. I'm not sure. Like, you know, if he practiced and did all the stuff that he would normally do. I would hope it would be north of 3, but I don't know. This dude just is allergic to winning, so it's kind of just not really sure. This is a sad thought to have because you put him on the Argentine tour in 2015 and he probably wins every week. But
yeah.
No,
um,
some of these tours are quite nice to call professional.
Yeah.
The Cordoba
Generous.
tour.
mm,
Not
got-
Cordoba,
that's-
Cordoba.
no. Yeah. You put a tour at the end and it's professional.
Apparently so, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, some of these are quite kind.
What is it? El Pato?
El Pato. That's his nickname
So we've got
for Wikipedia.
Ale Pavon and Vamo El Pato.
Vamos El Pato.
Pavon in the field. In the field.
Pavon. He was
Yes.
2 under through 6 last week. Just needs to put the last 66 together and get a
Pavon's got more
two.
exemptions than Spieth does, so there's
True.
that. Spieth has one. He's got
Yes. Right. Spieth is only in the field because of his previous
yeah. It's the
of
only
his
good thing.
once great championship. That's
Spieth is in the same reason that Vijay Singh is in.
that's awesome.
Bernard, yes.
Olazabal.
Yes, even Miss Phil has more exemptions.
Really?
Yeah, PGA. I think that runs out soon. but Spieth is only in because he's a past champ.
That is chills. I
Yes.
guess I mean Phil is, on a different level than Spieth, so that I guess makes sense. But
Yeah, it's tough to disagree.
the Spieth and Mike Ware are in the field for the same reason. Mike Ware is what, mid 50s? Spieth is 31.
Coming old.
Yes. It is
It's a
crazy
few.
that
Okay.
Yeah, let's get a triple double. I was just looking. There's quite a
Yeah.
few guys not named Michael Kim that only are in because of being top 50 in the world now. Because you know how Michael Kim was being celebrated on the Bird app.
yeah.
Yes.
Other guys, I just want to name the other guys that got in. JJ Spawn, um, Michael Kim, Stefan Jaeger in because he's
Jaeger.
top 50 in the world now.
Jaeger bomb.
Congrats to
Uh,
Jaeger.
Laurie
Congrats
Cantor.
to him.
Berger is now in because he's top 50 in
Oh,
the world. That's his
chills.
I
only
gotta go
exemption.
grab my food from outside, so you guys shall go first. I'll
Okay,
be back in uno momento.
We
that's
will,
fair.
what were you got Burger? Wanna do 'em all?
Berger, JJ Spawn, Michael Kim, Laurie Cantor.
Cantor. Cantor
Yeah,
is flushing. He is on the short list of flushers that could win the Masters.
I saw
Look
that
out
tweet.
for.
I did see that tweet. But those are the only guys that are in solely because they're in the top 50 now.
Yeah.
So
Where is
that
Spieth these days? Mid
not
70s?
top 50. No, I think he's in the 60s.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Think we could really use a bump there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, it's hard
66 in the official.
yeah. T4s don't really move the needle a whole lot.
Well, like they do, it's just he needs more of them.
Well, yeah, you'd have to stack a whole bunch of T4s. Like
Yeah.
if you go like a Spawn, who I guess actually has been playing well this year, but racks up a solo 2 at the Players, and that's the equivalent of probably 7 or 8 T4s.
Yeah, I mean, Scheffler is number one in the world at averaging 13.9. Spieth's T4 got him 16. So Spieth did that every week, he'd be number
Oh,
one in the
okay.
world. So
Well,
it's a
there you
good
go.
chunkage there. But
Yeah, that's a fair play. What did Spawn while you're there? What did
yeah.
Spawn get for his second at Mr. Players?
Oh, more than Spieth. Not trying
Probably
to joke or be funny, but
75.
48.
Really?
Yeah.
The
I think the
Players was
winner was
only
like 70. Rory got
interesting.
80. Rory got 80.
Okay, so then only the majors are 100 then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think if you go solo 2 at a major, that's 60.
That sounds right because Spieth's done that a few times and it's some of his top finishes ever, which if you go on the
Okay. So yeah, I don't know
website,
where I
it'll
got the
show you.
75 number from then. Regardless. Triple double. You or
Yeah.
me first.
I'll go. I'll go. We'll
Okay.
work up the totem pole here.
Yeah.
First play going Bud Cauley.
Been playing well.
Probably favorite play of the week. Yeah, I was doing the whole course fit thing, and a lot of guys are negative course fits in my little model. He's not. So going Bud, going. This is tough. So Hideki was number one in my model, but I didn't want to use him here. Second pick going Denny McCarthy. Uh, if we recall, going back to last year, he played more than good enough to win and just lost in a duel versus Akshay. So Going Denny, he's been playing great golf too. He's been flushing the golf ball. What was that? 4 green boxes in 5 starts. So great golf. Last pick was a complete toss-up. I had no clue to go, but gonna go the Postman, JT Poston. Um, Not a whole lot there. He's been striping the ball. Putter's kind of lost him. It's came alive the last couple weeks. Easily the least favorite of the 3 plays, but maybe good old JT can find himself in contention on Sunday.
Yeah. Bug Holly's been relevant the past few weeks. So that's a good play. And then obviously Denny had that crazy run on the back nine last year to catch up to Akshay. This is a course where you can see some separation if you're playing really well. Like I expect the winner to be about 12, 13, but if somebody's just kind of better than everybody else, you can separate yourself here. Um, I'm going Akshay. I haven't used him yet. I kind of need something to get back on the high horse. And he's a good player in form. Obviously won here last year, so good course fit. Then I'm going with a pair of Ryans. Not be the one Ryan we know, but
Friend of the
it'll be a
pod.
Fox. Ron Fox starting to play some good golf. He's sneaky. I think he's a sneaky good player. And
He's a
I
very good player.
and I just like his game.
He's a player who could fluke to a major, to be honest.
Yeah, I could
Like
see.
he's got that kind of game, I think.
Yeah, I could see that at like a PGA.
Yeah.
And Valero I think is a pretty decent course fit. And then Ryan Gerard has not played a whole lot this year, but he's flushing the ball.
Any relation to Steven?
And well, no, that a little name difference there, but no, this I feel like I just need to get back to my roots of picking flushers. It's not been a good few weeks for me in here, so uh, we'll see if these guys win. But I almost put Hideki down, and I think it's interesting that you had him at number one on your model. This just like it feels like a potential Hideki week.
He's healthy. I
Um,
mean, that's always
he's healthy. He's playing pretty well. He missed the cut at the players, which is like almost a good thing. It's like if you miss the cut at the players and you're playing well in general, it's pretty easy to just throw that out.
that's the most
Um,
crapshoot week of all time.
but I think I have a couple guys locked in for next week, and Hideki might be one of them. Do you have any guesses who the other guy I might have locked in for next week?
Corey
Hideki
Connors.
was my. Ooh.
We've chatted about this. I don't know if it's him, but
Who would you say?
Corey Connors.
Oh, I forgot about Connors. No, it is not Connors. It could be Connors though. He's been playing well. Which actually, is he in the
Morikawa?
field this week?
Connors
should
is
be
in the field this week. He
Okay.
is.
Yeah, Connor's in the field. Is the other one Morikawa?
The other one is not. But Markow's been absolutely striping the golf ball. It's actually Will Zalatoris.
Well,
Um,
Mickelson's already on the sheet for me, so.
Is
I
that-
love the Ryan Gerard pick.
Yeah,
I really do. I
I
almost went with him.
like stumbling across his data golf page when I did.
Yeah, no, he'll probably be on the card this week as well, I think. For Miss Elise, as we've been talking about him quite a bit. But my picks, the leaders' picks that everyone came to hear, and
Well
I'm about to
said.
ruin my credibility with them. Gary Woodland to start, playing really good golf. Course fits him. Really not worried about him missing the cut. I think he'll get me a nice chunk of change. Then I'm going with Jordan Spieth.
Wow.
I
For
think
Spiethies.
that I'm very confident he doesn't miss the cut this week.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, you want to get
Well,
the
it's
small
just- it's
names out of the
April.
way for the big fields. So
It is April
um,
1st. I just was
I'm very serious. I didn't even think about that. But yes, Jordan Spieth is my second one. Course fits him really well. If he could T8 here with his game last year, I think the game's in a much better spot. I think he's trending. The only thing that scares me is that he really hasn't hit the ball well twice in a row this year. But that also could mean that if he misses a cut this week, he wins next week. So,
Love it.
that's my reasoning. I just think he's a horrible bet on the board. I just don't think there's any value there. But I think that he's a great play in a one and done or something when maybe the purse isn't that big. So, I'm not afraid of that pick. I don't see myself using him much this year. Like I don't really see other courses where I'm trying to save him for. Because I don't really know like where his game fits right now. But he's been someone I've been eyeing for this week for a few weeks now. As long as the iron play improved, and it did last time. So
The chills.
Daniel Berger. It's my other.
That's a good pick.
I'm a little bit scared that I'm using him here because I think I've already used him once. Oh no, I haven't. But this course fits him to a T. So I don't know if you've put his data golf box into the course fit, but it's basically the same shape. So pretty chills there. Those are my 3 picks. And yeah, sorry, but no April Fools on the Spieth pick. So
And I
Love
can't
it.
root against him this week either, so that's tough. I will be cheering if your lead increases. Of course not if it's
it would be nice to
against
get back-to-back winners.
Woodland or Berg.
Gary Woodland.
Yes. I mean, I could appreciate that, but if I burned my burgers too early, I would be not thrilled with that either. So
I don't know. I'm looking at the picks you guys made this week. Feeling very good about an extension.
yeah,
Feeling
you
very
definitely
good about
went
an
with
extension.
some heavy hitters compared to the.
I did. But I
Okay.
also don't think I've used many. I will say I used players at their peak very well so far this year. Like the Strakas of the world, I used. He's not playing as good anymore. I got
Yeah.
Jaeger out of the way. Like I've been
Albert.
getting players at the right time, which is nice. But Minwoo Lee, that helps too.
Yeah, that's a bonus. I think we all have a non-signature event winner this year.
Getting hot at the right time.
So
As
that's
we all
pretty
put
cool.
Spieth on our boards next week.
Yeah. All right, Spieth, Phil, and Olazabal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, hold on. But and he touches.
Yes. Well then, I think that's all I've got. Valero.
That's all I've got too.
I'm excited for it. Hopefully it's a good week.
Yeah. Can spare the 6 minutes of gibberish that every listener looks forward to.
Yeah, we already did our side tangents when we brought up
Yeah.
whatever we talked about 20 minutes ago.
Cabrera
Yes, El Pato.
and the tours. El Pato.
Vamos
But-
El Pato.
Should be a live episode next Wednesday. Probably a recap Monday or Sunday. Probably Monday. But
Yeah, we'll see.
probably what we're looking at. So, yeah. Thank you all for listening. I guess we'll see you in episode 148.
Peace.